Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to a video here with the latest SH Figuarts Dragon Ball release. Now yeah, Super Android 17. Straight hot off the heels of GT Trunks last month. We have 17 now, and Pun is next month I believe, so it's nice getting a good streak of GT releases. Now obviously being premium bundle, this one's already hit mailboxes I guess in the USA. Earlier this month. So if you already have this figure and you're checking out the video, thank you for that. I do appreciate it. And of course, if you do have it already, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Because yeah, I know for myself, I wasn't expecting much, but actually, you know, every now and then there is a figure which takes you by surprise. And I feel like Super Android 17, so far from the little play around I've had, is kind of being one of those figures, right? So I'm looking forward to having another good look at it throughout this video, and yeah, who knows, we'll see my I guess final thoughts at the end of the video anyway. But yeah, we'll take them out of the box, check out articulation, faces, one or two poses and so forth before we wrap up at the end. So let's just jump straight in and get them out of this box. So we have Super Android 17 in the center, and he is a tall figure, right? Definitely a bit of a growth spurt in comparison to the other Android 17. Didn't quite realise that actually. Really need to go back and rewatch or finish rewatching GT. But coming into the other parts, we get 3 additional faces. We've got a base kind of neutral smile on. We're really needing a teeth gritting smile, bit of a cocky smirk, and then the full on mouth open screaming face. Below that we have 2 extra parts for us here. One thing I didn't really realise, shows how much I paid attention to this figure on release or announcement, is that here is articulated at the back, which is great, so we can switch out those parts as well. And then we get 4 additional pairs of hands, basically a mix of finger spread ones for kind of gripping, using it as attack and so forth. We also have a really cool Key Blast effect, along with a bonus head for the GT Goku, along with a printout of Shenron or Golden Shenron, so that can be put behind. So that is quite unique actually, something we often see with, I'd say, Good Smile releases, not so much with the Figuarts line. So it is interesting that they may be testing out this for some simple effects. I believe something like this would have worked really well for Megumi from the Jujutsu Kaisen line and a few other series, so this could be pretty cool going forward, because I know the ones that they did for the spell effects for the Freedom were really cool. So yeah, interested to see what this one looks like once it's out of its packaging. So yeah, for now let me pop them out of the packaging here. I'll put them on the turntable so we can check out the overall finish on this release. So as he swings around here, check out the finish. Again, we've got a nice weathering with the denim that has that faded look, which is great. His boots are shiny with that green, and it matches him well with his upper arm sleeves. Bit of a unique design, right? But the gold printing for the wrist on the vest as well is nice, along with the brown. All the colour separation is looking good so far. The colour of the internal joints for the knees blends in well with his pants, so that's nice to see as well. And then the orange on the scarf is looking good too. The detailing for the gold on its earring is nice, the bangs flowing down, and as you probably saw on the back, there is the joints for the hair, but it blends in pretty well actually. Then on the front, the sculpting for his abs works well with his top. We've got the RR for the Red Army on his belt buckle. So yeah, I think overall, detail wise, this figure is looking good. And one thing also to highlight is the Key Blast effect. This is pretty unique actually. So the effect is encapsulated in a outer dome, very similar to the Dragon Balls with Purunga, which have the NFC chip inside. In this case, we don't have that, but we do have the Key Blast inside, which looks really cool. And there is one that we hold there, I think, for a, yeah, we can put a peg in there and put it in his hand. So we'll have a look at this a little bit later in the video as well. But for now, let's take him off the turntable and we can start checking out the articulation on this figure. Now, starting with the head, he can swivel his head around really well, which is nice. So despite the kind of big bandana, pretty decent motion, the end of the bandana will swivel as well, which is good to see. And then on the back, we do have the hair on the 2 pegs, which can move up and down, which is nice. So we have additional parts that we can switch out, which I think probably gives a bit more of a windswept motion, so we'll have a look at that a little bit later as well when we check him into another pose. But for now, his head going back, he can look up by a few mil actually, so it's not too bad. And then going forward is really good. So overall, pretty decent motion in that head neck range area, despite I guess the flowing hair and the bandana. I kind of thought it would hinder it a bit more than what it does, so that is a pleasant surprise. Now moving into the arms here, the shoulder range here is good, everything swivels up and around without any issue. Nice motion there, he can cross his arms over extremely well, and then again for going back. So great range of motion in the shoulder area. The vest part will move, it's kind of floating I guess, and then you have your shoulder joint. We get the upper bicep swivel as well, there we go. And the elbow joint is nice, and then we have the usual wrist peg as well, so decent range of motion all around there. And one thing I didn't highlight before is the colour painting for the inner side of the glove is nice as well, so nice crisp lines there, so that is good to see. Now coming into the torso here, he can go forward pretty far, which is nice, and going back is really good, and again we can kind of get the diagonal motion, so everything on top is feeling really fluid. His belt is kind of just floating there, so it doesn't get in the way too much, which is good. Can do the splits. Going forward kick, it gets a bit more limited because everything does kind of hit, but at least he can kick up decently well. Going back is nice. And we give up a thigh swivel, the knee joint is good, and then the ankle is limited. We just give it up and down, we don't, I get some swivel, but we don't really get that pivot right that the Saber Naruto line does, or some other figures recently. So yeah, a bit more range of motion and the ankles would have been good. I think this is the weak point in terms of articulation. Now whether or not that will really hinder your playability or enjoyment when posing him, that's another matter. I guess once we try to put him into a few more poses, we'll see if we can keep those feet flat on the ground or not. But besides that, overall the articulation of this figure is a lot better than what I expected. Okay, so we've got them set up here with that key blast. It's really cool. So both of these hands do have a socket in there for you to attach the blast, and we get two attachments. So the current one I have on has a little bit kink in it, but we also have one which is just a straight line. So we do have some variety there, which is nice. And there is one hand with a hole and one without, so you can mix and match if you want. I have also switched out the hair, so we have a flowing one, which I think looks a lot better. A little bit fiddly to change. I took off all the faceplate and the bangs just to make it a bit easier. I kind of feel like maybe we only needed this one here. We've made it easy instead of switching it on and off, but some variety is nice, at least for those that do want it. The key blast though is looking amazing. It'd be cool to get more effects like this going forward. So I have the Dragon Fist effect set up here. Now I don't know where the box is for my GT Goku moment, so I don't have a fist, so I can't do him into the fist pose, but I have switched out the head with a bonus one we get, which is him looking to the right, mouth open. Kind of pairs beautifully to do the scene where he's jumping forward doing his Dragon Fist punch. But yeah, unfortunately I don't know where I've put it. I've been kind of boxing stuff up, moving things around a bit, so I need to make a better system for easy access to these older figures. But yeah, the face is pretty cool. Looking off to the side, nice. I'm not 100% sure if it's really a needed accessory, but at least the back Dragon Fist thing is actually really cool. So another part which is pretty cool about this figure is his arms do pop off to reveal the inner cannon, which is really cool. So it is the same for both, but actually my left one I can't take off. It's really hard, the hand pops off, and actually on the hand though, we do have, just like the Android was at 1920, we have the energy absorbing thing in there. but the actual wrist, yeah, maybe I need to get something to pry it off. It's just really stuck on there. Kind of getting a little bit frustrated with the line lately. Little bit small issues like this kind of keep popping up where either things are too tight, too loose, not easy to use. A little bit frustrating. It's a little bit frustrating, I do gotta say. But anyway, let me get a lineup of the GT characters and we can jump into the final thoughts, pros and cons and all that for this release. So we have a full GT lineup so far, at least. Next month we do have Pun coming, which will be pretty cool. But yeah, what do you think about the lineup so far? Pros and cons and overall quality. What do you think about the GT lineup? Now, first off we have the Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and then Vegeta, Kid Goku, Trunks, now 17. So it is nice that we do have a villain, and obviously Pun is coming. That kind of rounds up the initial starting trio of the main core characters. So after this, I mean, where can they go? More villains. Obviously there's Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So yeah, that is something to keep in mind. We'll come back to that before we wrap up the video though. But for the pros and cons for Super Android 17 here, obviously the pros are finished. He looks really nice, the colouring, the detail, the weathering on his jeans, and you know, all the sculpting detailing on this figure is really nice. The flowing hair attachments is cool. How we can actually articulate the bandana part is nice as well. It's not just in one fixed position. The gimmick of the arms popping off like Android 16 is awesome. The Ki Blast looks really good. The bonus parts for Goku with the Dragon Fist effect behind. And then we also get the bonus looking off to the side eyes, yeah, or faceplate. So a lot of parts with this figure, which is great. My only real con actually is, I've got two cons. First one is no real ankle articulation in terms of that pivot and roll. That would have been nice to have. And the other one is actually just for me, the fact that my left arm just won't come off. And that's not really a figure design choice or issue. I think maybe partly quality control or ensuring that there are enough tolerances throughout the line. That's something I've been noticing quite a bit with the Dragon Ball ones, like the folded arms. The previous Piccolo one I just got, the arm just flops off easily. The tail part on Goku here, just like one little touch, it comes off easy. The hand here as well. Now I've noticed like the joints aren't that sturdy or strong, or at least not as strong as what I would like to have. King Cold, his arm changing part was no good. His arm just kind of falls off. So I'm not sure what's really going wrong here. These aren't major QC issues, like in the vein of like the trunks coming out of the fixture with parts going the wrong way or anything like that. But it's just like the long-term quality standpoint, which has me a little bit worried at the moment. So if you've been facing issues like this as well throughout the line in the past year or so, let me know if you've noticed more of these small issues. I'm definitely keen to hear, like maybe I've just had a bad you know, streak of luck here where I keep getting ones with little small niggly issues like this. So definitely keen to hear. But besides that, yeah, really love this figure. One of my favorites from the GT line so far. I actually really like Trunks as well. So I'm looking forward to Pun and Gil to kind of complete that trio. I really want the ship. It'd be nice if maybe like a Figuarts version of the ship could be pretty badass. But coming back to the question I had earlier, where can they go with the GT line now? Obviously a lot of people throw out Baby, but I was talking for Mate as well. I'm like, why Baby? Why was he so memorable? So I'm keen to know for any GT fans out there, why is it Baby that you want? Is it more, not so much Baby, but just the Baby Vegeta version? At least for me, when I think about the line now, I think maybe the end Dragon boss, or you know, bad guy, and then Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and a golden ape. That's what I really want. And for me, that will be the GT line done. Unless of course they announce Power Bros. I would not turn those down. Fun, gimmicky, city characters like that always do love. So that would be a nice addition. never gonna happen, but it would be nice. But yeah, that is it for the video. I hope you liked and enjoyed. If so, hit that like and subscribe button, all that, but more importantly, let me know in the comments below what you think about this figure and those issues that I was mentioning as well, because I am keen to hear. But yeah, anyway, that is it for the video, so let's wrap up. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, cheers!